Leo, how you doing? Wow, so I'm really struggling at the moment, and I think that you are really struggling, to be honest, because I'm struggling to get through to your energy. So I'm definitely picking up a Virgo energy, and I'm struggling with the long distance. So you could be dealing with Turin breaks, or you could be dealing with a Cancerian for a lot of you, okay? And oh, really? Because I heard that we might as well start as we mean to go on, okay? So there's either long distance and a long way to go, okay? To travel, to family, to see somebody or something like that, or the distance between the relationship is getting longer and longer and longer and longer. Okay, the time that you're not speaking to a person is probably going longer and longer and longer and longer, but I definitely keep picking up on long distance, okay, like a track and field, or someone's fields, or something like that, or you're going for walks in fields, and it's a long way to walk, right, or a long way to walk to get somewhere that you go, it's a long way to get there, okay, or you're going to travel to see family or something, and it's a long way. But the trouble is that I'm definitely picking up on the Cancerian reading. Okay, and that had a lot to do with your message started off with, we might as well start as we mean to go on. And I'm trying not to do that again, but if you see the Cancerian reading, you'll see that I apologise through that, because there was a lot of visually impaired kind of stuff, and that might be why I'm kind of visually impaired at the moment, trying to get through to your energy. I'm definitely picking up this, look, we might as well start as we mean to go on. Now, in Britain, when people say that, I'm picking up an energy of like, somebody that's drinking, okay, and they're like, look, if we're going to start, then we might as well carry on through the night. All through the night, da da da, ba 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 da ba, oh na 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 na. I forget who sang that. Who sang that? But all through the night. Yeah, I forget her name. We were na 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 na. But yeah, all through the night. So here, that's pulling an all-nighter. So that's a night shift, right? So that's Lionel Richie, or then Richies, or Richie, or Lionel. But like night shift, so working a 12-hour shift. Some of you really could be dealing with a 3, which would be a Piscean for me. Okay, but something like a 12-hour shift, or a long distance, or 12 miles, or 8 miles. Something to do with Eminem, or Emily, or Emma, or Melissa, or Maria, or Melanie. Okay, but something to do with 12 hours, or it's a long way to go. Okay, now it's a long way to go to the end of the night, which means that some of you are going out and drinking or contacting somebody that drinks, because it's definitely playing references of what happened in the Cancerian reading, where there was a Cancerian that was possibly on their way that drinks, or you're going to meet each other here head on. Now, oh man, this is so disturbing, because I'm picking up on a car accident, and I'm sorry I have to throw that out there. Right, but through the Cancerian reading, it got very disturbing, because someone could really have been drinking and driving, and what I picked up channeled wise was that actual energy there. So I'm definitely picking up like we're going to meet each other halfway. Now, the disturbing bit is when you do an all-nighter normally, and you start as you mean to go on. This might mean that someone's drinking, which means that, well, if we're going to start, then we might as well start as we mean to go on. And let's start with 1, but then let's start with 2, and then 3 and 4, and start as we mean to go on, and like completely polish off the whole lot. So I don't know if any of you are like because I'm picking up on a buffet, kind of like an energy of like eating loads of food, and we might as well start to go on, and we might as well polish the whole lot off, and like we might as well like have it all. Okay, so taking a lot of, well, they're saying it's taking a lot of drugs, or taking a lot of alcohol, or food consumption, and taking a lot. Okay, so you've kind of got these energies. To me, to channel is quite disturbing, really, Leo, because I'm definitely picking up that we might as well pull an all-nighter, which would be a Leo Sayer. So there you go, pulling a Leo Sayer in Britain is an all-dayer. So we might as well go all through the day and all through the night. All through the night. So it feels like that somebody's drinking through the day and also through the night. So you really could have like an alcoholic here, is what I'm hearing. Okay, or Al, or Steve, or Al, or Steve. Al, Steve, all through the night. Daytime, no time, daytime. So it's something to do with like day and night shift, or day and night pulling an all-dayer, working, or also drinking day and then night. Day and night is what I'm hearing, like day and night. Okay, but that's really going to relate to anybody that knows a Cancerian specifically. Well, anybody around you, if they're taking alcohol or drugs or anything like that, is very important in order to look at, and I have to give you those messages. Okay, so what started this off for you was where it was a Dear John letter. Dear John, and an ultimatum. So I think a lot of you are probably going to be taking a lot of selfies, right? Or selfish, or something around of Pisces. But Autumn Tech is pretty much of a product that I kind of gave a thing to. Don't matter, but it's a selfie stick. And I'm picking up on Ultimatum, right? Or an Autumn Tech, where I'm going to start taking a lot of selfies and try to lure someone into taking selfies. Like, so I'm going to go on Facebook and all of this kind of thing and Instagram, and I'm going to start posting a lot of pictures of myself on there because I know that maybe my partner's on there, or I'm trying to get noticed by someone, or I'm trying to build up my confidence by putting a lot of pictures out there. But I'm definitely keep picking up like something to do with around selfies and putting selfies up, selfie after selfie after selfie after selfie after selfie. Okay, I don't know, strange message for you, but that seems to be there. But the main message that started this off for you, for your week, is an ultimatum. Like, I'm going to give you an ultimatum, okay, which I wouldn't do. And that's the God's honest truth, because when you give somebody an ultimatum and you force their hand, you push them away. So that's why you're dealing with a 7 or a Cancerian, but I'm definitely seeing 7, which would be a car, journey, long distance, 7 of swords, running, pushing, okay? Definitely for you guys. So when you give people ultimatums, this is where it's kind of like, look, I can't cope with something that you're not doing, and I'm going to force your hand and give you an ultimatum in order to do it, right? So the trouble is with arguing is that when you go through separation, because there could be a lot of long distance, like I said, there could be a long distance between you guys, and the longer it gets and the longer it gets and the longer it gets, the further distance that you have within the relationship. But then also the longer time that you don't speak, also, that goes for a lot longer also. But then when you contact someone with a load of crap in your head and you give them an ultimatum, you'll do nothing but push them even further. Okay, so what you've got basically is the energy of complete and utter separation and not speaking and not talking. Okay, the longer the not talking goes, the harder it gets. And then when you do contact someone with a load of stuff in your head, if you're not over it, then pretty much what you get also is pushing someone away. Because if you give them an ultimatum and say, look, the time's getting a lot longer, what is it that you want to do, blah, 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 because we're not speaking and we're not talking about it. If you contact anybody in anger, or Icarus, or Angus, right? But if you do that, you push them further away. So basically you're stuck. You've got the energy of the hangman. So you definitely feel like as if you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. But the kind of strange energy here is what I'm picking up is a Dear John letter, which is by the time you read these lines, by the time you read all of this, I'll be gone. Which means that if you don't soon start sorting yourself out and you read this message, I'll be gone. I'll be gone forever. Like, I'm moving and I'm going to move away and I'm going to like go to another state or another country, or I'm going to go off with another person, or I'm going to like just like give you an ultimatum. Like, it's up to you, blah, 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 but I'll give you an ultimatum. If that ultimatum seems to be where it's like coming from an ill well of content of codependent energies, right? If your partner picks up on that, you'll probably force their hand. So it really does feel like being stuck, Leo, if I'm honest, right? And like I said, if that ultimatum comes through as, look, I'm going to give you a chance, right? And you think that you're in the right and your person thinks you're in the right. And it's like, look, I'm going to have to make you feel as if it is your fault. And I'm going to give you a chance to get back with me. If this person still thinks that they're within their right, and so do you, you're still going to push each other away. You've kind of got this mirror here that's pushing each other away. Because if, like I said, if that ultimatum comes through as ingenuine, okay, Jen, Julian, Jason, Justin, Jasmine, but if that comes through as something that is not genuine, okay, then obviously it's not a genuine offer. Now, if you're dealing with soulmates and like fucking, people like me, I was going to do a video for people because some people were explaining how difficult it is. Extremely difficult. Like, yeah, because you have to have a clear conscience. For my job, I have to have a clear conscience. I have to have a clear mind. I can't have anybody that's kind of like triggering, mirroring, battering, forcing, all of that kind of stuff. Because I pick up on it, whether someone says things or not. Because I'm a medium and I channel all this stuff. what do you think that that's like in a relationship, right? When you're in a relationship, right, and you do a job like mine, and I channel and all this kind of stuff, right, physically channeling with no cards, for my life that can make that extremely difficult, because if I get anybody that is compromising what they may not think, but I feel and think and know in my head, I can't reconcile with energies that are like filled, even within their head. I kind of know. It's like I can sniff it out and feel the energy, because I have a lot of Scorpio placements, so I can feel it out, right? So through being an empath, when someone contacts you, you just pretty much know that they're still blaming or that they're still angry, right? So if this anger comes from here as a mirror of forcing someone's hand, all you're going to do is push them even further away. It depends whether this person here of 5 is a Sagittarius or Taurus, right? Or a life path 5. If the 5 comes here at still 5, you're just going to make an ending. You're just going to make a 10 of Swords, right? So you could be dealing with 10 of Swords, 10 of Cups, Pisces, anything like that, but open, right? So you could really be dealing with a Cancerian Gemini, because I am picking up a judgment energy, okay? So like reconciliation, but like, you know, because your first message was, "Dear John, by the time you read these lines, I'll be gone," right? Or Robbie Lyons, there you go, the funeral, okay? But by the time you read these lines, I'll be gone. So you could have these energies of soul groups that really could be going through. Sorry, if you don't know Robbie Lyons was an Irish person that owned a pub, very nice guy, up here, okay? It's the main attraction, it's right in the middle of town, okay? He was a pub owner for many years, of one in London, one also here, because he had a pub in London, he had a pub here, he had a pub in different places, okay? And he's physically just passed away, okay? And that was all through Scorpio, and I've been saying it for a while, actually. We had the Drop Dead Fred, okay, there was a Freddy that died also, okay? I'm also hearing Dry Drayton, or the name Drayton, or Augie, or Drayton, okay, or from Dry Drayton. But something's very dry, you see. What is this that's dry? So, I don't know if there's sobriety, you see, I'm dry, I'm clean. So, Tina, cleaner Tina, you right, cleaner Tina? Well, like, I'm a cleaner Tina, or I'm a cleaner. So, some of you physically clean, or you know somebody that is a cleaner, or somebody you know that is called Tina, right? And you know somebody that's called Tina, okay? Or you drive a Cortina. Really? Does somebody still drive a Cortina? Wow. An old one? An old Cortina. An orange old Cortina. Okay. Call Tina. I'm hearing call Tina. Please, can you call Tina? Can you call Tina? Can you call Tina? Somebody, Tina. Somebody's going to call you, Tina. Right? Or probably call you out, maybe. I don't know. But, like, can you call Tina? Is what I'm hearing. So, a very bizarre message there. But your main one is of, by the time you read these lines, I'll be gone. And that's the difficult part, you see. Because if that's an ultimatum, and if that's like 13 on the clock, so you could be dealing with a Scorpio, okay, also Leo and Aquarius, okay. Yeah, Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio energies. So, if you, like I said, if this ultimatum comes through as like, listen, by the time you read these lines, I'll be gone. And if you don't soon start doing something, it's my inside of my leg. But like, if you don't soon start doing something, then you won't have me anymore, and blah blah blah. If that comes through as a very ingenuine energy of like, giving someone an ultimatum, you know, making them force their way, because if you're not going to do it, then I'm not going to be here with you. Sorry, but I've got a really itchy inside leg, and I have to sit here for a little while. Something, like I said, there's this energy of an ultimatum. Okay, Leo, so very quickly before we do your reading, because I'm going to start looking at the weeklies, not really so much past, but we're going to continue on with your reading with more cards. But there's a tune, if a lot of you follow Angel Radio, I also predict future through past, present and future through music. There's a new track that I've made, and I really do feel that it is kind of coming up in your life here. So just very quickly. Virgo. Three of Swords, Pisces. So it starts off extremely slow, but I really do feel I'm picking up Dan, Darren, Daz, or Darren also, Aaron, I'm also picking up Aaron, the name Aaron or Aaron, okay, Darren also. I'm picking up So Lost, something to do with around Virgo. Staring at your photographs, it's like going through a photographic album. So Pink Floyd, Comfortably Mum, okay, staring at photographs, keep looking at photographs, photograph after photograph, kind of going through it, feeling nostalgia. Now, if there's anybody that's lost or anything like that, I am picking up where you might walk into a funeral parlour or something like that, and there's pictures up on the wall. Someone's putting pictures up on the wall of a person, or on their wall, which is around the name Wooly, or on their wall, which is Facebook. So they're putting pictures up on their wall, which is, I think it's Facebook, right? I think it's called a wall. But like a collage of photographs of people's pictures. This might, the name Pitch or Pitchley, okay, Pitchley. Pisces is a Pitchley, that's Pisces. Pucci, also there you go, there's Pucci. But something around like putting photographs up on the wall, okay. So that could be a memorial site or something like that, or it can be, like I said, it's pictures, putting them up on a wall. So there really could be someone that actually physically passed here, and they put pictures up of the person that's passed. Or they're going through a photo album of somebody that was lost, or even of a lover or a mother, something to do with Gemini maybe, but something to, not saying that it's that person, but it could be involved here, but putting pictures up on a wall, okay, that's what they keep saying, and I'm so lost. So you're definitely dealing with Virgo energies here. Virgo, so lost, so done, so done, so done, so done, so sowing the seeds of love, sowing the seeds, but so done, so done. Does that mean anything to you, Soden or Soham? From Soham, place called Soham, okay, from Soham. Amsterdam also, from Soham, Amsterdam, Madam Mim. Some of you could be looking into an encyclopedia of medicines, which is called a MIMS. Okay. Pims also. Some of you are drinking Pims? Really? Are people still drink Pims? Pims and lemonade. Pims? Heidi, because I'm picking up Pippi Longstocking. Something to do with Heidi. The name Heidi? Or Jackie. Jackal and Hyde. Jackie and Hyde. Jackie. Jackson, hide from Jackie. Someone's trying to keep hiding from a name called Jackie. Probably Brown. Jackie Brown, you come up in the last one. There's this person, right, called Jackie Brown, has been part of my channel since I started. Used to leave some very, 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 very nasty comments. And I channeled her name for the first time yesterday. Might have even been, yeah, it was in the Cancerian reading. It was. Just one of those people that constantly stick around and press dislike straight away. But yeah, I'm picking up Jackie Brown, or the name Brown. But again, brown here is also known as heroin, okay? Just to let you know that in Britain, people call it brown, right? So I'm also hearing the name of Brown, or someone that may be using heroin here, okay? Using Brown. Charlie Brown. You see again, Charlie, meow, meow. And then also Brown, Charlie and Brown. They're probably going the full hog and doing the snowball. Let's do both. Let's put a bit of brown and a bit of white in it. Now this is either a very colourful person, right, and they mix paint, or they do, like I said, cocaine and also heroin here. You really could be relating to somebody that's Cancerian energy. Yeah. Okay, mixing my, also they're saying mixing my drink. Mixing and mastering, also, for a lot of you, possibly do that kind of stuff, right? But I'm definitely picking up like I'm mixing drinks, like going out and mixing them, like having a beer, having a bevy, or the name Bev, or Bev Mims, Mims, there you go. But like I'm having a beverage, but then I'm also having like an aftershock. Aftershock. Oh, okay. I did think aftershock. A shock, but aftershock, right? So you're looking at the tower, but you're looking at a shopkeeper, or you're looking at someone that works in a shop here, physically with people, but aftershock. So aftershock is like a quick, right? But after the shock, which means that somebody's possibly lost. This could be a funeral, okay? And then people drink at a place of residence, okay? Or I'm drinking with the residents. So someone could work in a residential home, in an old people's home, and they work in and I'll meet you after work from an old people's home and a residential home, and then we'll go and have an aftershock. Okay, so someone's probably going to go back with someone's ex, or some shock. I'm going to get a shock. Let's go to a shop aftershock. Aftershock. So this could be that ultimatum. You see, normally when people argue, they give people an ultimatum to say, look, if you don't soon start like booking your ideas up, I'm going to go back with someone else, or I'm going to go off to someone else and you'll never have me anymore. Y'all can do that all you like, but I think you'll push the person further away. Because if that, like I said, there's a strange energy here of someone drinking and meeting up, right? Now, if this isn't your partner, if there's an ultimatum that starts right off at the beginning here, I would never give someone an ultimatum. Because I am hearing you're going to lose the best thing that you ever had. Because you're the best thing that ever happened. Come up in another reading. Paul Weller, Paul. Okay. But you're the best thing that... Yeah, because I'm picking up Paul Weller, but you're the best thing. So I'm picking up that you're going to lose Libra. Something around that energy, or Sagittarius. But you're going to lose the best thing that you ever had. Because I'm going to give you an ultimatum that if you don't soon start doing something, I'm going to go off with someone else. So I would say, for a lot of you that are still really angry, I would say probably go after someone else, if I'm honest. Because if it isn't working between the two here, if there's an ultimatum, you'll push this person away by threatening, right? So if an ultimatum is if you don't soon start doing it, I'm moving on with another person. If you can move on that quickly, this person will say, no, there's no way of getting through here. Because I'm definitely picking up on like a blockade or a Adrian or AD, but like a blockade or Abby or Abigail, but a blockade and something that you can't get through, which would be like a 4. So you're looking at Scorpio, Taurus. So there's no possible way I can get in then. There's no possible way you want to do this then. Because if that's compromised, it is. But if it's forced and it's threatened, you'll scare this one off because it's a fixed sign. So which means, no, you do what you want then. If you want to go off with someone else, then you go off with someone else. But if you force my hand to give me an ultimatum, if you can move on that quickly from one to another, to another, to another, then you might as well go off with another, because you're still going to learn the same lesson. It doesn't matter who you spend your time with, you still go through the same lesson. Because argumentative energy and argumentative energy, if you come at any kind of person with an argument, you'll push them away. And if you go to a new person and think that that's going to be any different, you'll just get the same energy that's reflected straight back to yourself. So if you've never resolved anything and things are not ever really resolved, but then you see you still get the energy of like, well, I'm still waiting for closure. So whichever way it is, it feels like you're just stuck, really. Stuck between a rock and a hard place, Leo. So we're going to continue on your readings now, but we start off with the past and then we do also do some, well, let's just see what you got coming up. Let's forget about the past for a little bit, right? Because I'm starting to draw more cards. Okay. But very quickly, let's just have a look where you've came from here, Leo. What's been going on with Leo? Yeah, something wasn't very stupid here. So here, I'm on my way, sweetheart. I've got a cup in my hand. Now this could be drinking, I really don't know, but this person is. Right? So I'm on my way, don't worry, I'm on my way. I'm just about to deliver you a message. But if that is an ultimatum, we have to see what is in that card there, why that is. Yeah, Taurus. So you could be going to spend time with your father or your partner here. There could be kids that are on their way. There could be siblings. These are also brothers and sisters. Okay. So you could be going to spend time with your relationship partner if it's all going really well. Okay. If it isn't going very well, then this would be a father. Okay. But it would also be a friend. So this could be a friend and a father and all of those kind of things. But the Son, the Ghost, the Spirit, and the Holy Ghost. So you could be going to get married for a lot of you here, going for marriage or going for gold, or you're in a very good standing relationship with your partner, and there is no argument. So the clarification of more cards will start to bring out whatever it would be. But here you should be in a very good standing with your partner and your relationship. We are kind of looking at past here. So you're kind of, you've been talking to a relationship partner. And if you haven't, you've been talking to a Taurus. You've been talking to a Taurus mainly here. But this could be a brother or a sister, and you think, no, I haven't. Well, then your brother or your sister has here. They might live with the Taurus here, right? Because this is living space. Where I live, there's somebody that has Taurus in their chart. So if you live on your own, and you've got a sibling that is a brother and a sister, then it's them that lives with here. Them. Emily, Maria, all the M's, but it's them that lives here. It's them that stays here. So you've been staying with parents, or you've been staying with a sibling, and you've been staying with brothers and so on and so forth here. This could also be a stepfather. The Hierophant could be a father or stepfather. Right? So your kids could have come over and stayed here. What's been going on with Leo? 2. You see, here comes the ultimatum. Here comes the ultimatum of 2. A decision. What do I do? I'm talking to a friend about what I should do in my relationship. Should I contact them? Should I not contact them? Should I give them an ultimatum? Should I not? It's still making someone make a decision about what they want to do about the relationship. Okay. So this could, like I said, this could be a new person that you've just met. Like you've split up and you've got with a new person here straight off, and you've just got straight with a new person, and you've gone straight in the deep end with the relationship here for a lot of you. You know, so you met someone new and you pretty much went straight into the deep end, and you just committed yourself into a marriage here. So you could have just proposed to somebody, okay? You could have just moved in with somebody here. You've just physically moved in, or you've moved in on someone and physically just started to commit the, I heard commit a crime. I don't know why I'm hearing commit crime, okay? But, because I'm also hearing, it's a shame the way you mess around with my heart. It's a shame. Shane, Sean, Shane or Sean. But it's a shame the way you mess around with my heart. Like you mess me around. Like you're not... Nah, there's this energy here of 2. So I'm picking up a sign here of, like, you're always messing me around. Like you always say yes. You always say yes. But then when it comes to the crunch, you always mess me around and you never know what you're doing. Like, so you say yes on the phone as a message or through an email or whatever, and you all say yes, but then you always leave me here standing. I'm still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing after all this time. Yeah, I'm still standing, but no, let's just hope that that isn't somebody that's been drinking, because that would also be like, I'm still standing, right? Yeah, but I'm definitely picking up here that some very strange behaviour, because there's a sibling and a brother that's staying with a mother or a father here. There's a sibling that stays with their brother or their mother or their father, right? And then the 2 is also an ultimatum that's discussed with the Hierophant. So it's either, 1, it's discussed with the father or the brother about someone's relationship, or a friend, what should I do? Or it's discussed with the relationship partner itself about giving someone an ultimatum about, well, what do you want to do then? Right? What do you want to do? But it depends on the progression of your actual reading here. Because we are looking at past, right? So this is an ultimatum. It came in as the Knight of Cups to ask someone about the relationship and discuss it. So what is the Knight of Cups? So why was the Knight of Cups here? Virgo, you see? I'm lost without you. Purgatory, okay? Which means that I'm thinking about you day in and day out, pulling an all-nighter, but I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place of not completing it. So I'm looking for closure. Like, it's not finished yet. Like, do you want to continue on or do you not? Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to be in a relationship or do you not want to be in a relationship? But that still can also be an ultimatum, okay? Because for the channel messages of what I was hearing also through the song, which was, I'm so lost, so done, so done, so done. The name done. or Dan. The name Dan, Danielle. Okay, so Dan. Some of you could have got back with your ex, or you could have gone with a new person here called Dan. Okay, Dan. Or Stanley. Stanley, the name Stanley. Penny. Penny Stanley. Penny Lane is in my ears and in my eyes. So some of you could have just reached out to somebody here. What's the Hermit for? The Hermit. The Hermit. Yeah, Queen of Cups. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. It can also be a brother or a child, but you are looking at the past here. So it's been a discussion. You was talking to your partner. You was talking with your partner. But it's also a lost energy. Like, I feel like I lost out. The Hermit. The Hierophant. Yeah, so sex, passion, in a relationship, possibly new person here for a lot of you. Possibly new person. If your relationship's good, and this ends up being a friend, which is the Knight of Cups, it feels like that your friend, you've been talking to your friend about this relationship here. That you've been talking to your friend about the relationship. Which means that could have something to do with around Virgo and Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. So that's a mixture there of people that have been talking to people about relationships. Whether that be the physical partner or not, or friends about them. What's this two? The Moon, my mum. So some of you here, you're staying with your mother or your father or your stepfather here. Taurus is a father or stepfather, and this is a mother. But because they're a mismatched pair, the Moon and Taurus for me, or a major arcana card like that, can mean father and like stepfather, but this is my mum, right? But that's my stepfather here, which is Taurus. Or they're divorced, here. But the Moon, what do I do about the Moon? Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. What is the Moon for? Because it's an ultimatum. It's getting someone and not making them be able to think clearly. That's the Moon. Because that's Scorpio energy, right? So it's like, well, I can't think straight. I can't think clear at the moment. You're not, or Claire, the name Claire. Like, you're giving me an ultimatum and I don't know what to tell you. Like, I can't see my way through it. Because you've got Virgo and also the Moon. So someone stays with their mother here. The Moon. Oh, the only few cards that are within this deck that are in the reverse here. This is an unhealthy relationship, because this is kind of single and free, but this is codependent energy, and it came up hugely through Gemini reading, hugely, because it was 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. You got 9 here, Virgo here. You got 9 here in reverse, came up through the Gemini reading. As a codependent energy, see, normally, this is the truth, right? When you look at people, right? When you look at people, because these can be stepfather, mother, and also sibling, right? But because you've got a lot of 9 energies and the Moon, this is where people say, in a relationship, they start saying things about their mother or their father, right? And that they don't get on with them, and that they're not really very good for them. Normally, when then someone breaks up or splits up, or there's been a rift in the argument here where people have ended up single, what they do is they go back to codependent energy. So they go back to what they know best, which means that they go back to their mother for support. But if the mother is being what somebody has said, yeah, my mother does all of this kind of thing and she does all of that and blah, 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 and she's really not good for me, your energy, what came up through the Cancerian reading, straight away when I said through that energy, that it's now changed where someone couldn't get, like if they're in a controlled environment here, right, because it depends on what comes up through your reading. In the Cancerian reading, somebody transformed the energy from the partnership and then went into a karmic cycle back with the parent here. Because this is normally when people go back to parents because they've split up, broke up with their ex, and because they go to their mum for support. But if the mum has never really been a very good support for them anyway and has been very confusing around codependency and has always made them feel awful through this card being in reverse, because of that, your karma now starts to show up where it's a soul group around your partnership. If it isn't your partnership, it turns up around your father and around your mother. You see, your energy now shifts, it changes, because your rift of time may have caused a rift in the relationship if it did, right? Because you've got signs of there being one, but you've got signs of there not being one, right? Which means that there are many ways to really look at this of the progression of your reading, which is that if this turned up in your relationship and it turned up to be very awkward, because your monthly reading was very awkward, was very awkward. If it did end up being where you haven't really been speaking it, like you was speaking but now you're not, through this last card here that progresses with the future here, if you're now single and you're not talking about it, about your relationship of where it's been very compromised and very codependent, and you end up single but not really single, which means that there's a rift where you're not speaking to your partner, there's a breakup but you're not really together, but you're still not really single, right? Because you're still thinking about the person, can mean that you're still not really single. So if this energy then is like, okay, I need to go back to my mother in order to get support that I've never really got support from, your karmic lesson now turns up around here where you've told this person so many times about the relationship, and they then say, well, I told you so. I told you not to do it again, but you did, didn't you? So then your karma then starts to show up around the moon, around your mother, of where you go into a karmic cycle then of what you can't never avoid, which is your karma. You either do it with a partner, another partner, your mother or your brother or your sister. It doesn't matter, right? So people that try to avoid their karma, they run off, they have an argument, they go back to their siblings, they use an energy of purgatory of talking to people about their relationship. They go back into a soul group family situation of the mother and the father and the stepfather. They go to ask advice of what they should do. But because you've got the Two of Pentacles, the Moon and the Nine in reverse, you go back into a codependent situation around family. So there's your karma right there. You can't avoid it. If you're not doing it with your partner, you've gone straight back into a codependent situation around a mother. And if you haven't, they have, right? And if you haven't, and this isn't relating to you, then this is relating to your brother or your sister, right? Here. It's just a mirror. It's stuff within your karma that you can't ever get rid of or avoid, ever. Because if you don't do it with your lover, you do it with your mum, right? And if you don't, you do it with your stepfather or your father. So you have a complete and utter meltdown through here of realising of what was in the Gemini reading of all of these nines that are starting to show up here, Virgo, and here, of a codependent situation that you go back to. Because when you try to avoid codependency and you try to avoid situations here of healthy, unhealthy relationships, you always go back into an era of need, into an unhealthy relationship. So even if you leave a partner and go on to another one, the same thing will happen again, because you'll go back into an era of need, of doing things that are very out of like a desperate need for it. So I'm in desperate need of attention and service to help me get through something that I can't do it on my own. And if I'm not okay of doing it on my own, and I tell everybody about my relationship and so on and so forth, I can then make a mistake of telling people about my relationship. Because I told them once before and they told me don't get back with them. And then I did. And then I have to now tell them again that I broke up with them. So then they have to say, well, I told you so, don't do it again. And then you do. It's like a child on a step. I told you not to stand on that wall because you'll fall off it. No, I'm going to do it anyway. Okay, I told you not to stand on that wall because you'll do it anyway. So then a person in their head will think, oh my God, I broke up with my ex. Who do I turn to and who do I speak to? Friends. So then the friends look at you as if to say, oh, fucking hell then. You're right then, bruv. She seems a little bit crazy, don't she? Or he does, right? Yeah, I know everything's going on in my relationship, blah, blah, blah. I need to go and speak to my mum. Right, but if your mum has been very difficult in the past and you've told these people so many times, this is why I fucking hate Dorian Virtue cards. Right, talk to a friend. No, that's a goddamn TV show. Phone a friend. Right, the first thing I need to do is phone a friend. But it still happens because then your friends talk to you and say, you alright, bro, how's it going on with your relationship? And you say, oh no, we're split up, we broke up. It's just human nature. Like I said, it doesn't matter who does it. That's what happens. That is what happens. It doesn't matter what happens. It's the fact that it is an energy that happens, right? It does. It's for a reason, right? Because people ask you questions, and when they do, you have to answer, right? So when you look at friendship, they ask you, you answer. When you look at a partnership, if they ask you and you don't answer through the energy of fighting, and they don't answer, a human being then will go to like, well, are you in a relationship with me or not? Because we're supposed to be living together. And if we're not, we're in a relationship. We're supposed to talk to each other each day. And we're supposed to go out. Yeah, but you're arguing. So what do we do? Well, I want to argue about it. Yeah, well, I don't, so I can't speak to you. Okay, well then why are you not? You're supposed to be in a relationship with me, aren't you? We can't have separation because we're supposed to be in a relationship. We can't have distance because I can't understand what's going on of why you will or won't commit. And we are and then we're not, and then we are and then we're not, and then we are that we're not. So then when you confront someone that doesn't want to argue and they don't argue and they remove themselves from the scenario of an Eight of Swords, when they do, if this person's still argumentative and they can't understand why this person has a condition of Taurus, right, which means that I am conditioned to believe that a relationship that was supposed to be speaking and arguing about things, that was supposed to be like talking whilst arguing, right, that's not when you talk. Because if someone's desperate in order for an answer about being single or not, and they give them an ultimatum of like, well, are you going to be single or not? Because if not, you're going to lose the best thing that ever happened to you, boy. Okay, so you're going to lose me if you know, take me now or lose me forever, right? An ultimatum. 2 and the 9 of here in reverse, right? Take me now, or take this now, or speak to me now, or forever hold your peace and lose me now, right? So if a person doesn't want to argue, who's the person here that looks down at this person to think, you're not going to give me an ultimatum? You're the one that's lost your mind because I don't want to argue about it, right? So I'm going to remove myself from the argument. Conditioning of where someone says about unconditional love, there has to be rules and regulations within a condition, because a condition means rules, structure, right? So unconditional love is absolute bollocks. I don't want to argue about it anymore, right? That's how I see it, right? It's up to you what you believe in. Me, I don't believe in unconditional love because there's 1 in 7. There has to be a boundary. You can't be a doormat. You have to say no now and again. If you say no, that's a condition. That means there's a rule. You can't say yes to everything, like love. Unconditional means there has to be a condition of an answer that means no. No means no. Yes means yes. Not maybe, right? So when you get a condition here that someone believes within the relationship that you're supposed to argue about giving people ultimatums in order to say, well, if I feel single in a relationship anyway and you ain't never here or you don't never support my need, then if you're not supporting me, then why are you even here? Well, I'm not. Dear John letter. I've left. I've gone. So now you're just stuck with the karma here of an ultimatum for a condition of what you believe to be the right way of a relationship, right? So it's not been what you're looking for, right? Means that there are certain things that I want in a relationship, and if the other person doesn't, you end up with a mismatched single energy of just being stuck right here. So you then go back to parents. The parents then condition you into believing about themselves. You just go back for an hour of need of support, and your karma then shows up in the family group. You see what I'm saying about you can't ever avoid it. You can never avoid whatever the energy is. You'll still learn about the condition of what it is of arguing here and being single and what that is for people. Because you look at this reflection now, if this is what has kind of happened in your relationship and you go back to someone that can be very opinionated, they'll throw their opinion against you and tell you we shouldn't have done it anyway. You can get very frustrated and pissed off and think, well, fuck, I went back here and that didn't work out either. Because they didn't tell me really what I wanted to hear in the hour of need. They don't never support me. They're not never really for my highest good. They make loads of promises, but they always break them. Or, you know, so they have a strong opinion against what I should and shouldn't do. And I need to go against society, because this could also be a martyr, and it could also be Martin, but it could also be, like I said, a sociopath that is lost between, I fucking don't ever know where to go. Like, I don't know where to run. I go back to my parents, that doesn't work out. I go back to my future, that doesn't work out either. And I'm sort of like lost between going here, there and everywhere. And I don't know, like I'm triggered. This is a trigger of 9 here. Being triggered off, and now I'm single because I made a mistake. But no, the other person made a mistake. So now I went back into the family situation and now I feel as if I've made a mistake. So I put myself down. By putting my partner down, I feel like I've let you down. Don't let me down. And if you don't, your partner does. 9, 10, 11. 2. Stuck between a fucking rock and a hard place, Leo. Right? But we'll see. Okay. What time have we got on the clock? We'll just start doing your weekly, okay? But the trouble is that because of Patron, I like to make sure there's a good amount of reading there for patrons. So I can never really do too much on here because the story will already be told. Right? It's business. It's not free. So what's going on? So we're doing from the 7th into the 14th, alright? Page of Cups. Still not speaking about it, still not talking about it. My fish that got away, the one that got away. So again, Page of Cups is still thinking. I'm thinking about making an offer. But do I? Because if I've listened to this and I've looked at the past, what do I say? What can I say? You know, it's either nothing or something. But if it's an ultimatum of feeling stuck, then it's more of a like, well, I don't know what to say to you. Because if this is a reply, or it's a lie, and your partner picks up that it's a lie, or they pick up the July or Elijah, but if they pick up, or Lee, if a person picks up that this is a lie, then it will be, I don't know what to say to you. I really got nothing to say to you. Like I haven't. I just don't know what to say. The energy is that stuck that I don't know what to say to you. So if somebody does say something to a person, yeah, the person may not know how to reply to this here. But it still can be, well, you didn't give me a reply quick enough. Like I give you an ultimatum from the 2 here of the 9 as well from the past. I gave you an ultimatum and now there's an hour of silence of now, well, I don't know what to say because you didn't reply quick enough. As I'm saying, if somebody left in the relationship, because I still can't help but read these because these are the moment after, right? So you're kind of looking at after and before. If a person in the relationship, Scorpio, if a person in the relationship here has not answered quick enough because they don't want to argue and they sense that it's actually going to cause more of an argument by not replying quick enough, that's demanding an energy, that's demanding an apology. So someone feels as if they're owed an apology. But if someone's been demanding an apology and it didn't quite come through quick enough or the way you expected it, you just get a page, which means that you just sit there thinking about the person. Here. Okay, that's how difficult it is, right? But let's see. Leo, what they got coming up from the 7th until the 14th, please, of May. Leo, show me Leo from the 7th until the 14th of May. Leo, the King of Wands. Now the trouble is that this card, I put it back upright, but in this deck, this card was actually in reverse in 2 readings, but I've actually put it back upright and I've just flipped it over here. It was in reverse here. So it feels like that, you see, because in different readings that came through as a sociopath, right, which means an empath. It means an empath. So, well, basically, you know. But in sociopath doesn't mean empath, but it's still an empath, right? Or Pam. But here, I need to talk to you, but I'm not. I'm still thinking about you. But again, this could be a rule breaker, right? It depends if it's a sociopath. Because if it is, it can be someone that goes against it, because they can use sex as a tool, right? A sex, which means that I need your apology for sex, because that's what a sociopath would do. They would get you to apologise to them. This person here will be looking for an apology. I'm not saying that you're a sociopath. I'm just saying that is the error of what one of the conditions of a sociopath is a person can do something, but they'll keep expecting that the person has to apologise to them, right? So if there's any sex and things like that, they can be very demanding around sex, can also be a sociopath. They can be very good at sex, but they want it a certain way. And if they don't get it a certain way and they feel awful, they'll make the other person apologise for their behaviour. That's a sociopath, right? So when you get things of an apology, you've really got to be careful around sociopaths here, because I'm really picking up a big energy around a sociopath. A sociopath will make you apologise for your behaviour. And they'll spit their dummy out until they get it, which means, no, I'm going to hold on until you apologise. I'm going to hold on and make you apologise for something that's extremely minor. Because it's a page. It's the youngest card in the goddamn deck. Which means that the argument can be that petty and that minor that somebody demands an apology that comes towards them here. Right. So it feels like a sociopath is making someone feel awful that they are supposed to apologise for being an adult, but it's coming from a young adult. Right? So a younger person or a younger soul. But either way it'll sell. But here, it's still trying to make someone feel awful for what they've done. Hold them accountable for it until they apologise for their behaviour. That is a sociopath. Can be very demanding around the bedroom and around sex. And when sleeping with the person, they can keep making the person apologise for their performance, right? So they can be very good in bed, but then something will go wrong in that, and they'll make the person feel awful by making them apologise for what they may or may not have done. But if you also look at where it's somebody that can make an argument and a drama out of a crisis and make this where it really wasn't anything. It was just a word. Sticks and stones break my bones. It was a very minor blip. If someone took that the wrong way and you stopped speaking, this card is an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. It's like somebody is demanding somebody to apologise for their own behaviour. But it could have been created by this card. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, another one. I have to also look at Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Jupiter, North Node. And also people that cross-watch energies that are saying, yep, that was them. And you would say, yep, that's them. Or Em, or Emily, or Melissa, or Maria. Yeah, that's them. So what's your friend been telling you? Because this is also a friend or a brother. What have you been telling your friend or your brother? So you've been talking to them about relationships, right? About an apology that you're not speaking to your partners, right? So you go to your friends and tell them, yeah, something wrong with them. This, blah, 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 blah. Like human nature. Human nature. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just forced out of you by spirit, because another soulmate will come into you and say, oh, how's your relationship going? Oh, not very well, blah, 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 so on and so forth, right? So there you go. So that's what you have so far. Okay, that's an hour, roughly. So we're going to go over to the other side now, and we are going to actually start to progress on with your 7th to the 14th. This is the beginning of it, okay? But we're going to go from the 7th into the 14th, and you will only find this on the full access bundle over on Patreon. If you like Angel Radio, it will only be over on Angel Radio now. I'm not going to put it out on here. It'll only be on Angel Radio, but I will post it up on the section of on the channel there, like I did the last one. But there is another one over there if any of you haven't seen it already. It's a biblical piece. There's messages in there in the artwork. There are spirits in the artwork. Trust me, there are. I don't mean the faces, I mean the actual physical signs of the art going into the water there. But see if you can see them, because I did. But it's there if you want to see it. But this only goes to the full access bundle. There's a video that is provided below that tells you all about Patreon if you don't know first. If you want to join Patreon, these messages and the rest of the month will only be over on the full access bundle, like I've said many times. Okay, but all the links are provided below in the show more section for whatever you want. Thanks very much, Leo, and I'll hopefully see you over there.